Hey everybody, Dr. Rick Wallace here, dropping in on you. Hope everybody's having a great week. Look, I'm going to try to get this out of the way. I don't want to be too long, but I do want to remind everyone that we do need your support. We are in a constant move to accumulate resources, contributions, and so forth. So if you approve of what we do, you believe in what we do, from everything to the thousands upon thousands of hours of logged research done by yours truly and a few others, or the Black Man Lead Rite of Passage Initiative, which is actually a program I created and developed based on the research I've done when it comes to the plight of Black men and the development of young Black boys, whether it's Restoring Ghetto's Forgotten Daughters, which is my wife Marion's pride and joy, the work she does with young girls, and a bunch of other things that you can find on the site. If you believe in what we're doing, we definitely need your support, so show some love. On that note, I'm going to double back on something I talked about the other day. Just found out something, and it goes exactly to what I'm talking about, why we're in a situation that we're in. The other day I talked about this whole John Gruden thing, and the fact that there were some Black men, millionaires, former football players who are now commentators, who were on the air and lamenting from a position of a victim. Randy Moss was even in tears, and I made the point that that's not what we need to be displaying. I'm not telling someone how to feel about something, because everybody's in a different place. What someone says about me, regardless of who they are, regardless of race, doesn't bother me. I'm looking at what you're doing to base how I'm going to handle you and how I'm going to deal with you. I've grown past that waiting on someone to say something nice to me, or being upset and hurt if someone says something bad to me. You know, I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need anybody's validation. And so I don't run around worried about what people say, because there's always going to be someone to say something about you that you don't like. Don't get caught up in that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when someone does do something that you don't like. As a man, you can't let other men see your weakness, not the enemy. Now, if you got men that are your friends, you got men that are a part of your tribe, you got men who are standing with you and headed for the same thing you're headed for, believing in the same thing you're believing in, doing the same thing you're doing. Yeah, that's where you come together. That's where you lean on each other. That's where you rest. That's where you open up and say, man, this is getting to me. Man, this is going, but because I get it. We're real, we're human, we feel, we get tired. One of the biggest issues we have, matter of fact, is that when we say we're tired, nobody even hears us. Nobody pays attention. Jason Wilson was talking about that earlier this week, or was it last week? But he was talking about that. He's talking about when a Black man tells you he's tired, pay attention. But, you know, there's so much going on. So I'm not sitting up having a problem with a person feeling a certain way. What I had a problem with, and watch exactly what I'm talking about. What I had a problem with was sitting up on national television and crying. Nobody gives a damn about your feelings being hurt, especially those people. They don't give a damn about your feelings being hurt. They don't care about how you feel about anything. They know what they're doing. They know what they are doing. They know what you're up against. They don't care. And I'm speaking in a general, broad sense. Of course, there are some people out there who do care. There are some people out there that look like us that don't care. And there's some people that look like them that do. But as a general rule, those in power don't care. They maintain their power by doing the things that they're doing. They are coming from a tradition of talking like that, a tradition of behaving like that. It's amazing that we're talking about what John Gruden did, And we're not talking about the fact that Daniel Snyder, who is the owner of the Washington football franchise, used to be Redskins, was the person he was sending those emails to. Nobody's mentioned that. Nobody's talking about that. Whole different level of power, right? And they're giving a great deal of focus to Gruden because the recipient of those emails was Snyder. But that's them. That's their thing. They created this league. If you want to sit up and really do something about it, get out, take your talent, take your capital, take yourself and create something different, something new, something that you have power and control in. Because when you cry, it's a revelation of the fact that you feel powerless. And that's exactly what they want you to do. But hey, this is what I'm talking about. He cries when the white man sits up and sends an email about another black man. But the moment that a black man speaks up on something, he challenges him to a fight. Randy Moss has challenged Jason Whitlock to a fight. Now, those of you who have followed me know that I've had some choice words for Jason Whitlock because some of the things he said I wasn't with. But those of you who follow me also know that I have a practice of separating the message from the messenger, because sometimes truth doesn't come back being born by the person that you want to hear it from. And if you make it a habit of only listening to people you like, you'll cut off a great deal of your capacity to learn. I listen to everybody, and I look for the truth, and I look for the character. I look for it. And the thing is, there are some things that Jason Whitlock has said that's right on. And I can acknowledge that. Now, am I going to place Jason Whitlock in a specific place of exaltation? No, that's not what I'm doing. But I'm saying what he said was real. He stood up and said, you're showing how weak you are. And you're sitting up crying on national television. He says, not a good look. Randy Moss's response is, I challenge you to a fight. So you want to box the old dude, but you want to cry when the white dude says something about another brother. So again, we'll go all out on each other, but we're not going to aim our vitriol, our frustration, our anger, and our energy towards the ones who are really the problem. We've got to get out of that habit. We got to get out of it. But see, that comes from that compliance mentality. That don't break the rules, don't upset them. The way that I have to express my discontent is from a place when it comes to white people, and I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about the black man in general. The way that I have to express my discontent when it comes to something coming from a white person or a white system is I've got to express my discontent from a place of docility. I've got to express my discontent from a place of impotence. I've got to express my discontent from a place that says I'm not a threat. But the moment that somebody that is non-white does something that I don't like, I'm ready to throw hands. I'm ready to bring the pain. I'm ready to do whatever. But the very ones who are causing the damage, the very ones who are creating systems that are handicapping not only this generation but the next, you want to cry. Don't get me wrong. I've been talking about this thing for a long time. I've been on this thing for a long time. I was reared by my great grandfather, so I've heard some stories. I know some stories about things that happened before I came here. I know some stories about things I watched with my own eyes. I've seen some things. I've experienced some things. I get it, but my point is, if you're gonna be a voice, but be a strong voice. Don't your voice shouldn't quiver. You shouldn't fade to a whisper. I speak boldly when I speak to them. I don't hold my tongue. I have no problem checking them. And my thing is, maybe I'll never end up with a platform like that because of that. Maybe I'll never ever get to a point where I'm back. But that's the thing. Vast majority of people who are propped up because they come with no real power. They're propped up because they're safe. They're propped up because they pretty much know what they'll get. They're not putting hardcore, real, true people in that's going to come with the A game, not most of the time. You know, you can look like a black man, strong and virile, but your conversation needs to be along the line of whiteness. And sometimes we're carrying a white agenda and we don't even know it. You know, I say this all the time, that the greatest threat to black progression is a black person with a white agenda. Now, it's easy to see that when you talk about certain people who it's obvious that they not only have a white agenda, but they are aware that they're pushing a white agenda and they have no problem with it. That's the easy one. The more difficult one is the one that actually think they're pro-black, but they're carrying a white torch. And what we've got to be careful of is being aware of it and calling a spade and being real. Like I said, I ain't telling a man how he's supposed to feel about what something happens. That if it gets to you, it gets to you, but you cannot show weakness in front of your enemy. If you want to go off to the back somewhere and cry, go do it. If you want to call up one of your homeboys and let it rip, go do it. But you don't sit up and show weakness in front of the opposition, in front of the enemy. And you're saying, well, why are we calling them enemies? They're enemies. The dude is sitting up showing you he doesn't care about you. He's showing you with his behavior how he feels. So no, he's not a friend. He's not an ally. He's an enemy. I don't believe in neutrality. I believe in absolutes. You're either with me or you're against me. There's no such thing as neutrality. I can't trust neutral. I feel more comfortable knowing I'm around my enemies than these neutral ass people. I know what to expect from me. That neutral person will fool around and catch you slipping and slit your throat, just to prove to the white handlers that he can be trusted or she can be trusted. So my whole thing is this. It's a sad reality when you look at it and you see someone who folds when it's them and wants to catch a square when it's one of us. It's time out for that. Like I said, you know, that's all. I'm about to shut down, but I just had to, you know, I had to shut at that right there. Got me. I'm like, really? You were crying a couple of days ago. Now you want a box, you know. And my thing, let me get off here because it really gets me. It's like, I mean, like, if I got to handle my business with a brother, I will. But that's the last thing I want to do in this world right now is square off against a brother. I go out of my way to give brothers passes, not out of fear, but because that's what they want, is to see us squaring off against each other and destroying one another and tearing one another down. I mean, like, unless I just see you as an absolute enemy of my people, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna move over this dude over here with this here. But a lot of us are just in different spaces in different lanes. I don't have a problem with that. My thing is, why are we going at each other? Why not sit up and say, how can I help you? How can I be a part of what you're doing? Or how can I assist you? Or nothing else. Say, man, I'm feeling what you're doing. Big ups, brother. I mean, anything except making another brother a target. They got enough of us doing that to one another already. That's a big part of my work is neutralizing African-American adolescent and young adult male violence. And so that's not where I'm at. That's not what I want to see. I want to see us, man, when we get aggressive, I want to be aggressive against the forces that are operating against our interests, not against one another. You know, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but in a situation like that, that wasn't the case. You just went after dude because he called you on something and you didn't like it. He called you, you know, he pulled your card. And he wasn't the only one, but, you know, he's got a little bit of louder voice, definitely, than I do. So you got the message. You know, it's a bunch of people out there calling you on that, Randy. You know, Jason's voice is just bigger right now. But anyway, look, that's what it is. So I'm going to get off here. I got to running the store real quick, then I've got to head to the gym. But I just had to drop that off. Talk to you guys later. I'm out. Peace.